Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So today we're going to dive into time analysis. So this is how we are going to handle when we start working with a client who doesn't know what they should be delegating to us. Now, you're going to find this a lot if you work for people who have never worked with a VA. You're the first VA that they have decided to bring onto their team. They are so excited to work with you, but they have no idea what they're doing. And even when you work with someone who has worked with VAs, you will run into this. Even when I was an online business manager, I still would run into this issue. And I would have been like the 10th OBM that they have had on their team. So this is not uncommon, and it's something that I really want you to take charge of when it comes to being a solid VA, someone who's going to show that you think ahead and that you're proactive in your client's business. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, so when we talk about a time analysis, what that is we want to look at what someone is doing and how much time they are spending on this activity. And so I always ask if I have a new client, I ask them to do this for at least a minimum of 1 week. Honestly, you're going to get a lot more information if they're willing to do it for 2. It is very tedious. So some people don't like doing it. But if they're willing to do this activity for you, and you can also talk to them about the benefits and how this is really going to help with their delegation skills. It's going to help with, how much you can support them within their business. Okay. So within the academy, we do have a template for this that you can utilize within your business, but it's very simple to set up on your own if that's something you like to do. You can also, Google Sheets are very easy to work with. So what we're going to do here is we have the client enter the date. So usually this would be a Monday, and they're going to at least run through Friday. Like I said, ideally 2 weeks, but you can do a lot with 1 week of activity. So everything that they do that's in regards to their business, or really just in their business hours even, because then you're able to see like what are they actually spending their time on, is going to be put into here. So we'll say it's April 2nd, and the first thing they do is they check emails. And let's say they start this at 8 a.m. and they're going to finish at, let's say they spend a lot of time in there. Okay. And then they're going to do their next activity here. Maybe and we ask them to be as honest as possible. People do not like filling out this form in an honest way. And you will definitely start to see that, because no one wants to admit that they are scrolling social media for as much time as they are. Because let's say they just say, oh, I just wanted to log in and, check my messages, or, check my comments and respond to comment, whatever. But oftentimes you're going to see that they spend a lot more time than they realize. Okay. And so they're going to go ahead and fill out all this information. It's going to be a really long list, and you could create a tab for each day or a tab for each week. However you want to organize it is up to you. The biggest thing here is just making sure that they are consistent and honest as they fill this timesheet out. And these numbers, no one is going to be ever be exact with them. They're just going to have to try to remember, to do this as their day goes on. And they might forget at some point and have to go back and update it. So, take the time with a grain of salt. The more honest someone is, you'll start to notice like they actually, admit that they scrolled social media for an hour and 10 minutes, or they, whatever it is that they're doing. So maybe then they have a meeting, one-on-one client, and then maybe they're attending their mastermind. Whatever it is, I want you to, be checking in on this and just remind them, because it's a lot of work, but there's a huge ROI on this project. Okay. And so then what you're going to do is each day you're going to go in and check this. And because you're going in every day to check it, they're going to, hopefully be a little bit more accountable to be filling it out. And you're going to go through and then say how much time, they spent on this. Okay. There's some formula in here. Okay. And each day you'll just go in there, update that, and kind of see what they're doing. Okay. And at the end of the week or the 2 weeks, what you're going to do is you're going to go through and say, and highlight, basically. I mean, you don't have to highlight, but it's one way to do it. Okay, I can, as a virtual assistant within your business, I can check your emails for you. I can filter them. I can respond to customer service emails and then highlight the emails that are for you to respond to. Okay. Obviously, if they're meeting with a one-on-one client, that is something that they should be doing and that only they can do. Okay. And their mastermind would be the same thing. That is something they should be doing and only they can do. This, we're just going to kind of leave that there. I mean, that's a choice that they're making. Now, what you could do is, let's say, like I mentioned before, the reason they are getting on social media is to check messages, it's to respond to comments. Depending on your level of comfortability with that, you could start taking that over for them. And then they're not even going to hopefully open up their social media app, and they're not going to get lost in their scrolling for an hour and 10 minutes because you're the one going in there and looking at comments or looking at messages. Now, not every email that you see, not every social media comment or message you see, are you going to be able to respond to? Because some you will, some you're going to, they're spam or whatever it is. But you're going to at least be able to go through and just highlight the ones that they need to look at. And you can, figure out how you want to communicate to them. It could be a spreadsheet. It could be a filing system. That's completely up to you and your style of working. But basically, this is going to show you what they're spending their time on that you can now take on for them. Now, let's say you take on emails, okay? And actually, let's go ahead and say that you're taking on their social media so they're not scrolling. Just by taking on those two things, which honestly will take you, maybe 30 minutes to an hour a day, unless it's a huge account. They're going to be paying you for 30 minutes, basically, depending on your structure of payment. But they're saving almost 2 hours of time. Okay. And this is how you're showing them that the ROI on taking the time to do a time analysis is huge. And it's a great way for them to understand which tasks they can delegate. Now, there's going to be things in here, and maybe it's like financials, or, it just depends on their level of comfortability with you and how much, how long you've been working with them. There are things that should be on there. So what is in their zone of genius? What are business growing activities that they need to be doing, right? That should be on this list. And as you see this list, and the more that you're a VA, you'll start to be able to recognize things that business owners should be doing. And if you notice they're not in here, you're not going to tell them to do it, but you can follow up, say, hey, when do you take care of this? Or when do you focus on this? And it's not you criticizing that they're not doing it. You're just kind of highlighting that you don't notice that on their list. And it's going to help them realize that you truly care about them and their business. So this is one way to figure out how to help your client delegate to you. And it's just, even as a business owner yourself, this could be something that you start looking at, excuse me, and how you are utilizing your time within your business. Like I said, it's not fun, but it's definitely worth the effort. And so you can do this. This is also a great way to figure out what your offers should be. So if you're a brand new VA, you do this with your first client, you can start seeing things, you're like, oh, I could do that. And you didn't think about it before. And you can start adding that to your offers list because you realize you can do it in a lot less time because you're not going to get sucked into the things they are because it's not your account. It's, and since you're working and you're focused while you're working, you're not going to be stuck scrolling or stuck reading stuff that you don't need to be reading, right? So those are just some thoughts on how to kind of master the delegation question with your clients. But as always, reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm always here to help. Thanks.